Hey guys, hello. I'm Sajda. I go by Saj. I write in this page. I'm a writer and I'm an artist. And up until recently, I used to write very regularly, and I was working on my second book, but it all came to standstill about a year ago. And right now, I'm trying to pull myself out of whatever trap, or it's not a trap, whatever prison that has been built around me. Now, I wanted to give up, but then again, I I don't think it has in my DNA yet, and also I have this faith in this amazing, stupid, illogical, irrational faith in human beings as well as God. Being said that, today I just want to talk a little bit seriously about something that I have struggled with all my life. And a year ago, I decided, along with my therapist, that there should be a way we can handle that. And then I started researching about it, reading about it, and some stuff worked, and moved on because there was another things that needed more attention at that time. And then I found myself in the same position about 3 weeks ago. So, loss and grief. What do we say? It's so common, right? We don't even think about it. Most time we tell people advices like just get over it, or time will heal it, or whatever. But most of the time, when we tell anyone who's telling us their sorrows or hurt, we are trying to make it okay for us. Because when you tell someone, time will heal it, you feel, if I'm telling you that, it's me who want to feel better. I feel like I did something for you. But actually, I didn't do anything. I just made it probably worse for you. So, the whole psychology behind is, at least this is my thought process. Please do not take it as a psychological advice. I'm not qualified for that. But I do have about 40 years of living in a whack-a-mole scenario. So I have to be creative to come out of many, many, many things. And I am also an artist. That means I am pretty sensitive and pretty bland. No, pretty blunt, not bland. No. Uh, and, and it's amazing because I also like psychology and neuroscience as well as behavioral and organizational psychology. And it's amazing how we are. And also, I'm interested in spirituality and the God concept, right? So it's funny, today morning at 10 o'clock, my 10-year-old was talking. He's been asking me and talking, having a philosophical conversation with me since he's 5. Yeah. And we were talking about how he was asking me why human beings kill other people or hurt other people for no reason, because every other animal in this nature doesn't do that. Now, it's a long concept, and then I'm trying to get him into it, and hopefully I can, but it is going to take time. It took me about all 11 years to come into some sort of peace, to make peace with it. So, life is full of ups and downs, really. It is beautiful, it's amazing. I am in love with it. I'm in love with life and love and everything. I'm like a carnival, okay? But personal adversity exists because when is the last time any one of us learned anything from success? We don't. Failure is what it teaches us. And what are we thirsty for? Knowledge, because we want to know everything, and that's the curiosity is what drives us. So when a personal adversity happen, we try to deal with it, all of it, and most people do in their own way deal with it. But during that time, we feel unsafe, our equilibrium is destroyed, and we feel helpless at times. Once we kind of solve it, we will try to go back into find a new equilibrium. I can't say a stable state. Now, this to get to that stable state, you kind of have to walk through the pain. And most of the time, we do not want. We will lie to ourselves. We would do anything to avoid going through it. But the best way out is always through. Now, we all want control of our lives and what happens in our lives. It's interesting. My son today told me that in some billion years or later, two galaxies are going to collide and everybody is going to die. So we have a dog called Max. I mean, he fits me completely. The most amazing dog ever with his own personality. So I pointed at him. It was 9:35 and I asked my son, do you know what Max is going to do at 9:40? He looked at me as if, oh God, what did I get into? And then, my kids are used to it and they call it mom's things. So, and he said no. And I said, yeah. So that's the thing. We can predict a bunch of possibilities what he will do. And we hope and wish for certain things. But that does not mean it is what is going to happen. Right? And if we don't know what happens in 5 minutes, why do we want to assume what happens in billions of years? Now, yes, based on past patterns and all that, most of the time we can predict most of the things. But not everything. And life, the beauty of life is that it changes in an instant. There is no notice. There is nothing. And I also feel that the adversities are lessons and opportunities for us to grow. Even though we kick, scream, trust me, I will do it. I'm doing it right now. I'm kicking and screaming and I'm cursing, and I also know that I will do it for a while and then just learn the lesson. So we all want control, but we really don't have much, I'll give you a simple example. Do you think you can control your feeling? Meaning, feeling anger or feeling sadness or feeling happy? You cannot, but you can control how you express it. But you cannot really control when you feel it, how you feel it, all that. Yes, you can work on the triggers, all that. But at the same time, I'm just saying is that you automatically will smile when you hear something funny. You're not thinking about, I'm gonna smile. No, it's an involuntary response. You feel sad when you see something. You get angry. So after that, when it happens, our logic and rational system kicks in, and then we can think about it, and then our reactions, we kind of formulate towards, this is what I'm going to do. So that is that. So we have an illusion of control, and that's what we live based on. But the whole point of understanding a personal adversity and being able to live with it or cross it to a state of understanding, knowledge, and make peace somewhat with it and being able to live with it is where we need the illusion of control. And at the same time, we need to accept that too. We need to say that out loud to ourselves that I don't have pretty much no control over many things. Very, 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 very little. Now, the randomness of events that happen in our lives is an excruciatingly painful concept to accept. Think about it. We don't know. Most of the things that upset us the most is that we don't expect them. And it's just random. And we want to know why. What? How? Why me? All that. I do the same thing. And I also know that I find reasons that lets me keep going forward. They may not be the reason, who knows? But I tell myself, this is the reason I'm going to go with because it helps me. It helps me take the next step. At the end of the day, isn't that what we all want? Keep moving, keep progressing, keep learning. So, loss and grief are part of all of this. Um, Accepting loss, it's not really clinical fact or human characteristics. So we kind of have to go through processing and figuring out, and no one solution. If you go through the same situation, two people, you will have to grieve your own way. There is no one step. You will have to, the time taken will be different, the steps taken will be different, and you just have to keep going. And it gets hard. That's when you need to be, keep in mind, we are pack animals, we need help. And then if we don't really ask for help, it's not gonna really happen. So I'll tell you 3 steps that I do. When I have something really upsetting and I'm having a hard time, I always think, what's the emotional and behavioral factors that coming from that loss? We always have them. And I'm a paper and pen person, so I write, and I kind of go in like a chicken scratch and then kind of end into something. And then we also need to understand grief, and actually everything we feel is extremely complex, and accept it. And then it doesn't really matter whether other people think you have a reason to grieve or not. Just take that out of your head. Grieving is yours. Whether you feel sad, you feel grief, you wanted to grieve, is your own. Then I would say, see a therapist if you can, or start researching yourself. For me, what works is that I have a fantastic therapist. I talk to him, and I read, I research, and I read other people's experiences, truly true experiences, and then I get ideas to try it out. It's a trial and error for me. I try this, that, and after maybe 15th try, I will figure out something works. It might be just as silly as, I will tell you. For me, grieving process involves watching Lord of the Rings. All 3 of them. And I just finished it yesterday night. And I can actually tell you the dialogue of Lord of the Rings because I don't know how many times I have watched this. It's that silly. The whole point is a loss and a grief. Loss is part of life. We cannot escape it. It can be anything. Grief is something that follows loss. And if you deny yourself that, you're not going to be able to move past it, that loss. It will change into anger, resentment, hatred. You need to move past that. You need to grieve. To grieve, you have to figure out what are the emotional and behavioral factors. And also you have to understand that this is a complex thing, and you kind of have to cut a lot of leeway for yourself here. And no one else can tell you whether you have the right to grieve or not, because it's not theirs to decide. It's yours. Final step, look into what your learning pattern is. If you are one of those people who benefits from real life stories and talking to people, strangers even, do that. If you are the kind who watches Lord of the Rings over and over, do that. But you have to consciously make that decision. And you have to give enough room to fail. For me, it's 21 days. Consecutively 21 days. I have a list of things that I check mark. And I keep trying. Most of the time, it is 10th or 15th time is when I can get the 21 days. But by then, I am almost to the point where I make peace with it. Then it's easy. Sorry about being a bit serious today. like I said, I haven't been doing this, even writing and talking to you guys and painting. All these is actually, this is my studio. You can say by the messy. So that's my my life, my passion, along with my family. But I have not been living for about 6 months now. I was existing, and I had a big loss, and I wanted to refuse myself the grieving process. Finally figured it out, and I'm on my second day. So I thought I will talk about it because we talk about real stuff, right? Thank you so much if you are watching this, and I love you all, and I really wish you guys figure out if you are struggling with something like this. And if you need help, reach out. My messenger or email, please just reach out. I would love to help in any way I can. Love to all of you. Bye.